What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman. Now, as long as I've had a channel going back before Avengers Endgame, and definitely within the last 2 or 3 months before the release of the Damage Control trailer and, well, this most recent Wandavision plot leak, one of the most commonly argued for theories has been the return of Ultron to the MCU now during Phase 4 or Phase 5 for the Avengers to have to face off with once again. What's more, add in the recent return of Ultron to Marvel Studios' Damage Control, as well as this new Wandavision plot leak that we're going to cover in length today, it's seeming more and more likely the case that Ultron may return to the MCU, but rather metaphorically, his physical return isn't what's necessary to make good on his manifesto, and one commonly missed Easter egg at the end of this scene right here may be exactly what's in play when Scarlet Witch finally enters the Multiverse of Madness. We're going to break everything down, the specific quote during this scene in Age of Ultron, how he foretold of him coming back to the MCU, and what it exactly means for Scarlet Witch. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including Infinity Saga box sets. All you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, before I go drawing crazy conspiracy lines all over the place for how Ultron is going to return into the MCU, slowly turning myself into Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, let me make it perfectly clear. Ultron's manifesto of eradicating the Avengers may play out through Scarlet Witch, and it's their connection starting with the Age of Ultron that this whole theory is built on. That's why it's not a surprise at all that this most recent WandaVision plot leak, if of course true, not only marks the beginning of how this will play out, but also calls for the return of Ultron. That's why we're going to start there. Of course, the normal spoiler warning, if this is in any way going to ruin your WandaVision experience, you know yourself better than we do, so go ahead and back out now. Also, take this with a grain of salt, but as you'll see from this theory, it actually makes a lot of sense, so you've been warned. It starts by saying it's confirmed that the series will indeed take place after the events of Endgame, as a depressed and homeless Wanda Maximoff tries to adapt to the new world. But after a while, a mysterious woman named Agatha will offer a helping hand to Wanda by creating a pocket dimension where she can live out her happily ever after alongside Vision and her 2 newborn babies named Wiccan and Speed. Agatha will then appear in the pocket dimension to kill Wanda when her children grow older, which they do after merely a week has passed. At the same time, Darcy Lewis from Thor and Thor the Dark World and Monica Rambeau from Captain Marvel will help an FBI agent look into the case about Agatha, which will lead them to Wanda's pocket universe. Allegedly, there will be several important cameos during the 6-episode miniseries, one of which involves the return of Ultron, voiced by James Spader, who will appear using archive footage of the Avengers Age of Ultron. Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, will also appear in the final episode, and this eventually leads into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, they said that this is going to be archive footage, but will be the original reprisal role of James Spader and Age of Ultron. But why would they choose to do this? Of course, this isn't the new return of Ultron, but rather him coming back much in the same way we're going to get the return of Tony Stark during Black Widow, but only in an old already shot scene. But again, why would they choose to do this? And it leads us back to what I said is the commonly missed Easter egg during that scene in Age of Ultron. We'll flash back there and bring up subtitles. She asks, "Is that why you've come? Is that why you've come to end the Avengers?" He says specifically, "I've come to save the world, but yeah, also end the Avengers," and we know of course from the Age of Ultron he did not accomplish doing that. Now, there's one thing he says to Scarlet Witch in particular, something he seems so confident about but then is never really made good on, and while they're talking about this, he seems to bring up his ultimate plan that the Avengers will never have harmony, they're discordant, they're disconnected. Stark already got them turning on each other. Of course, if he's referring to the small infighting amongst the Avengers, that goes back to Avengers 1. It's nothing new, and he says you need to have patience, you need to see the big picture here. And it's important to note he's not just talking to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch here, but us, the audience, also telling us to look at the big picture. That's what he means specifically when you jump forward in the same scene when he says, "I wondered why you guys survived, now I don't." He recognizes their power, then tells Quicksilver, "You and I can hurt them, but you will tear them apart from the inside." And again, if he was just referring to the infighting during this movie or Avengers 1, that was nothing new, and she didn't actually accomplish any of that. There was no tearing them apart from the inside. Yet, Remember, Ultron specifically told us, the audience, to focus on the big picture, then said the words specifically, "She can tear them apart from the inside." He didn't just mean those mental manipulation games she can play with their brains inside their heads. What he really meant was from the inside of their team as a member of the Avengers, the big picture. He was looking beyond the next battle, beyond the next fight, because he knew he could only hurt them. What he saw in the potential of Scarlet Witch to become the ultimate destruction of the Avengers is what he planted the seeds for, what he meant by the bigger picture. Now, speaking of the mental manipulation games, we got a small dose of that at the beginning of Age of Ultron. Remember, this was before Ultron had said you can tear them apart from the inside. Really, none of that was ever made good on during the movie, and undoubtedly for the rest of her tenure as an Avenger, they sort of pocket her mental manipulation powers in favor of her red energy field blasts. Understandably so, they work much better in an action setting, and this seems to be the majority of her power set all the way through Infinity War and Avengers Endgame with her face-off against Thanos. Short as that scene was, they really lent into her physical abilities rather than the mental manipulation side, which I think is going to take over during her Scarlet Witch time into the Multiverse of Madness. Now, there was one other huge rumor that the Scarlet Witch herself would become the MCU's next big bad villain, and that would fall in lockstep with this theory that she's going to become uncontrollably powerful and for evil. And maybe Ultron knew that even back during the Age of Ultron, setting her up as the ultimate plan and part of his manifesto. And even though that seems like a long shot, it's not a coincidence that they'll be introducing Ultron again for the first time during her TV miniseries. And my best guess is during that scene, you're going to see something that he said to her that's either going to spark something or change something inside of her, and definitely make good on her being his long-term plan to tear down and eventually eradicate the Avengers. One last thought you can take away is that how much this is interconnected with what's going forward and how long ago they set this up. Age of Ultron is going almost a decade back at this point, leading into Scarlet Witch finally getting her own TV series. It would have been so far before they even thought they could have gotten to Avengers Endgame, let alone a Disney Streaming Plus TV series, and then being able to do a Scarlet Witch miniseries in which they could even lead to something like this. They left the back door open and the connective tissue there to be able to spin a brand new narrative with her possibly becoming the villain, make room for her to grow in an entire arc they didn't even know they'd have time to do. And that's the sort of genius planning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's going to give it a ton of longevity and allow them to keep tying in old Easter eggs that we're going to keep finding over the next 2, 5, or 10 years as they keep building out the next protagonists. Without that sort of planning and groundwork, without the knowledge of the comic stories and where these characters would go ultimately, it would be almost impossible for them to do this. And other movie studios that have tried in the past haven't been able to hold together more than 3 movies at a time, if even 3. That's why as Marvel continues to do this, it just gets more and more impressive. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about all of this, specifically Ultron eventually returning one day in new footage as an Avengers villain. Do you think that's going to happen given all the evidence in this video? And if not, are you definitely feeling me as Scarlet Witch part of his manifesto and ultimate plan to take down the Avengers from the inside? Do you remember this Easter egg and think that this is what they're going to harken on during that miniseries TV show? Maybe the flashback will be just that exact clip as a poignant reminder of just how prophetic Ultron was in the first place. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about all of this and the return of Ultron. If you're definitely an old comic fan, you'll know reprising villains and bringing villains back for different conflicts is part of what the Avengers and Marvel Comics have always done. There's no surprise there, and I'm actually looking quite forward to it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 500,000 subscriber mark. Considering when I post this video, we should only be about 500 subscribers off of that. That should be announced on Friday, the 15th of November, 2019, barring some catastrophic event. Also giving away another PlayStation 4 Pro at the 550,000 subscriber mark. So if you don't win that first one, don't worry, there's another one right around the corner. All you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video. That'll automatically enter you to win the PlayStation we're giving away, the next one we give away, and all the prizes we're giving away here at the channel throughout the holiday season, including Infinity Saga limited edition, limited box sets. Again, all the same rules apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because because it's truly random. The more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Lastly, if you're still listening to this video at the 10-minute mark, I just released a new song and music video. I'm going to go ahead and link that in the comments down below. If you support my music or you're just curious, I know everybody likes different kinds of music. Maybe it's not for you, but check it out. It might be. I'd sincerely appreciate it. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always. Guys, thanks for checking out the channel and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.